What's going on, guys? Today I have an awesome video for you. We're actually going to go over the oil analysis results that I got for the BRZ through the first half of the autocross season. This is actually results from last year, and we're going to be comparing that oil, which was the Motul. It was actually the Eco-lite 0w-20. This is just an example. This is what I run in the WRX. This is the XS 5W40. And we're going to be comparing that to the Pennzoil in the future here, but let's go over the results of the Motul just as it is to get a baseline and see where we're at. So let's dive into it right here. Got the report in front of me here with all the values. I will put this up on the screen as I'm reading it, obviously, so you guys can see it. But let's go ahead and go through the summary that they give first, and then I'll go through all the values that they give here. Alright, so it says, Chris, it looks like the engine handled the hard use. It sees pretty well. Wear metals stack up well against universal averages, which are based on 4,700 mile oil changes. Aluminum, which can be in the pistons and bearings, is getting a little up there, but it's still reading at a level that doesn't have us worried about any issues, especially since the high performance events will normally cause a little bit more engine wear. It will cause the engine to wear a little bit differently than your typical daily driver. Long story short, these results look great. The trace amount of fuel is a harmless amount. We'll look forward to seeing the next sample. So that's what they give you. And then let's go through all the wear metals and other stuff that's in the oil. All right, so let's now go through some of the wear metals and everything that they give you on here, and also the additives that are obviously in the oil. So for aluminum, that's probably the most critical for a Subaru engine because the block is aluminum, the bearings and all that stuff are all aluminum. We got 5 parts per million. The universal is 3. So it's a little bit higher like they stated, but nothing to be really concerned about. Chromium is 0, iron was 3, copper, lead, and tin were all 0. And also there's titanium on here, but I'm not sure if that's a wear metal or if it's something that's in the oil for like an additive. I think it's more on the additive side, to be totally honest. And that's all the wear metals. Just my thoughts on that are, like they're saying, it's a little bit higher than normal, but it's nothing to really be concerned of, so I'm okay with it. Alright, so let's take a little look at the additives that are in here. And again, there's nothing to be concerned about with the additives. It's just what's in the additives that are in the oil. Moly 229, titanium, like I said, could be a wear metal or an additive. I think it's an additive, but 2 parts per million. Boron 94, silicon is 16, and that could be, again, it could be an additive or something in the oil, or it could be actually from the not the gaskets, but there's a lot of sealant in there. These engines, these FA engines now don't use like rubber gaskets. They use like sealant to close everything up. So that could be part of that. Sodium 2, and then we get into the big guys here. We got calcium, about almost 1,300, and that's a detergent. We have magnesium, almost 500, phosphorus, almost 600, and zinc, about 700. Zinc and ZDDP are definitely like a anti-wear thing, so interesting to see that. I'm just scanning down here. So detergents, wear additives, and all that stuff, everything is kind of normal here. Nothing really to report on that. Nothing crazy about the Motul oil, at least that I can see. And again, keep in mind, I work in finance. I don't work in it as like a chemical engineer or anything. This is just something I do on the side, so take everything I'm saying kind of with a grain of salt here. This is just what I'm looking at on paper here. So let's sum up the Motul oil here. And again, not this one. This was in a 0w-20, so that could be causing a little bit more wear. I do use this car for like autocross and performance things, so that could be why there's a little bit more wear. In the future here, I am going to be giving the results for a 5W30 that I actually ran. I ran the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum as a comparison. The problem I'm seeing with that is I ran a 5W30 and I'm comparing it to a 0W20, and I'm also comparing 2 different brands. So it's not going to be a super fair comparison, but right now from what I'm seeing, it's not like this is not super awesome, the best you can get oil, I suppose, because it still has wear. I mean, it still has average wear, you know what I mean? But again, is that because I'm not using the right viscosity? Should I be using a 30 weight? The car calls for a 20 weight, a 0W20, but I'm still of the opinion that running a little bit thicker of an oil, especially if you're doing any performance driving, if you're driving in canyons, if you're autocrossing, of course, and definitely track days to keep that oil pressure up, you definitely want to be running a 30 weight, sometimes also a 40 weight, Overall, I mean, again, just my results, just my engine, and this is just one oil sample. This is not multiple. I don't have multiple data points either. But overall, it seems to be pretty good oil. It's not like it's, causing any extreme wear or anything like that. And I'll be totally honest, I put this oil through the ringer through the first half of 2024 when this sample was taken. A lot of heavy autocross, a lot of heavy driving. So that's how the 0w-20 came out. I'm going to be comparing it to the Pennzoil Ultra in the future here, the 5w30. So stick around for that. Go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.